是我们先热身一下。
Hi, thank you. First, I got to thank Nodor for sponsoring me and bringing me here. Thank David and Felicia.
首先呢，我要感谢大家，然后特别是要感谢若道的大卫老师和蒋颖邀请罗宾老师一起到上海来举办这样的工作坊。
And sorry. Okay, yeah, okay. So, and I have to thank Chloe.
然后感谢我。
And she's done all the legwork and done all the work. She's doing all the work. I'm just talking.
然后我们也就是付出了很辛苦的努力，很多工作，然后才实现今天的这样的工作坊。
But it's nice to see so much astrology and interest in astrology over here in Shanghai. And there's always been astrology in China. There's always been astrology here. But
我非常感谢，就是也非常开心看到在中国有这么多人对占星有热情。实际上，占星它是在中国是有很深的渊源和历史的。
But Nodor is bringing in all the old guys like me, like Noel, Stephen Forrest, and we're coming in and we're giving out the things that we know. And astrology is like a language. There's so many different ways of working with it. If you learn 12 words in a language, you can talk a little bit. You can still say something. If you know 100, you can do much more. If you know 1,000 words, you can talk much more. But even knowing, oh sorry, go ahead.
就是若道呢，他把我们就是像我这样年纪大的老头子们带到中国来，引进到中国。比如说像诺泰尔大师和 Stephen Forrest 老师带到中国来给大家传授占星学。我觉得占星学呢，实际上是一门语言。如果大家能够学会10几个词汇呢，你就会造一些句子；如果大家能够说几10个词汇呢，你就能说更多的表达更多的意思；如果你能够说1000个词汇，你就会表达非常非常丰富的语汇。
So just because you know a language, it doesn't mean it's worth listening to you. Many people know a language. Many people speak English. Many people speak Chinese. But not everybody do you want to listen to.
就是如果是你只会表达一个语言，并不代表说你值得去被聆听，或者你值得被别人去感受。是因为很多人都会说中文，很多人都会说英语，但是并不是所有说中文和说英语的人都值得你去聆听。
So astrology is a special language. When you study it, it's different than other things. It's not boring. It's about yourself. It's about the people you know. It's a living language.
那么占星呢是一门非常特别的语言，它并不是一个非常枯燥的词汇，它是关于人的语言，它是关于你这么特殊的一个能量的语言，它并不是一个死的语言，它是一个非常灵动的活的语言。
So like music, many people play many songs, play an instrument, but not everybody works the scales, develops it up, understands it deeply enough. It takes time to be a real musician. It takes time to be a real astrologer.
那么占星呢，就好像是音乐，很多音乐家呢，实际上他在背后付出很多辛勤的工作。很多人呢，他在背后会去练琴啊，他是会去进行很多枯燥的工作。其实占星也是一样的，你需要去认真的学习，你需要不停的去学习，只有去学习，你才可以去掌握好这门语言，才可以更好的去应用这个工具。
Today, with computers, you don't have to calculate. You buy a program. You buy a couple of reports, and you can be the astrologer.
那么今天呢，有了这个电脑这个工具，我们不需要像古人那样去花很多时间去计算一个星盘，去绘画一个星盘。然后我们有了这样便捷的工具呢，我们可以更好的去学习如何更好的去运用解读星盘，也让我们更容易成为一个占星师。
But that doesn't mean you know astrology.
但是有了这些电脑的软件，并不代表说你懂得占星学。
There's so much information, so many ideas, that it seems like it's just a mixed bag. And how do you know which ones are more important than others?
那么占星里面有太多的信息量，每个人因为对很多信息都有不同的看法，都有不同的见解。对于每个人来说，对于每个想成为占星师的人来说，你如何去挑选那些你认为重要的信息？你如何去把这些信息转化为自己的语言呢？
in psychology, now psychology has come into astrology a lot, and astrology is like a symbol of your life. From psychology, here's a symbol. So this is a symbol, I can read the symbol, it has this meaning, and it's very interesting, it's very fascinating. But that's not all there is.
那么现在呢，在现在有一个趋势，就是心理学和占星学越来越融合了。心理学上有很多语汇，有很多这个它的这个固定的名词，都和占星学有非常好的这个联系。占星学也和心理学有非常好的互动和这样的一个组合和结合。这当然是给占星学带来了很多鲜活的能量，但是呢，这并不是占星学的全部。
So astrology is more than a symbol. It's a living being. It's life. It's the DNA of life. It's not a symbol. It's more than that.
占星学它是超越一个符号学的，它并不是一个死的符号。实际上，占星学它代表的是一个鲜活的能量，是代表一个人的 DNA， 是一个人生生活的经历。
So we have 4 basic categories. Okay, wait. There's many levels. You understand the natal chart. You understand transits. Then progressions, and then many other advanced techniques.
那么占星学它有很多层级，你需要去学习很多进阶。比如最先开始的话呢，我们要学习如何解读你的出生星图，就是我们所说的本命盘。接下来呢，我们会学习如何去就是了解推运，所谓的就是 transit， 就是行星的行进。然后再高阶的就是 progression， 就是行星的推进。
So transits, progressions, they're easy. You got the time, you see where things are there, it's easy.
推进和行进非常简单，也就是它测量的是你生命中什么时候会发生什么样的事件。
But they only work as well as you understand the person and the natal chart.
但是他们如何才能更好的去为我们去发生作用呢？其实最重要的就是我们要去学习和理解本命出生星图，也就是我们本命盘，这是我们任何学习占星学的基础。
If you can't find the person in the natal chart, if you can't see who they are, the strengths, the weaknesses, and you can't see that, you can't see how the transits work.
如果你不能很好的理解本命星图、出生星图，如果你不能很好的从这个出生星图中了解这个人的能量，理解他，知道这个活生生的人是怎么活出来的，你就不能很好的去理解就是行运和推进了。
I can look at a chart in 2 or 3 seconds and see what's going on in someone's life.
我可以看一个出生星图2到3分钟，然后马上就可以看到这个人生命中正在发生什么。
But I'll spend 2 hours before I see somebody trying to understand how do they need the information? How are they going to work with the information? Not what I want to say. How are they going to work with the information?
但是在我咨询前的时候呢，在我跟每个人见面的时候，个案见面了之前呢，我都会花2、3个小时去准备。我准备的原因是，我要去理解这个个案他想要获得什么，他这个个案是如何活出这个能量的，他能够接收什么样的信息，他需要什么信息，他需要我给他什么信息，而不是说我想要给他什么。
So it takes time. You go slow it down. When you think you know something, then you have to slow it down, wait, think about it, reflect it, compare it to people you know, compare it to yourself, and then you look at it. Now, okay, sorry.
占星学实际上是要花一个时间去沉淀、去学习的一门学科。你需要去了解它，需要去放慢脚步。只有放慢脚步的时候，你才能去理解它。比如说，你可能去用自己的星盘去了解自己的生命，然后去用星盘去了解别人的生命，这都需要花时间去沉淀的。
So usually, you start off, you learn the houses, the 12 houses, you memorize what each area of the 12 houses are, and then everything gets added into the houses. That's the usual way it's taught.
通常我们会从宫位这些开始去学习占星学，然后呢再把慢慢的其他的这些元素或者这些碎片加进来，这是通常学习的方法。
But astrology, what happens, you end up making intellectual concepts for each thing. You get these words for this planet, these words for these houses, you get intellectual concepts. And it falls a little short of experience.
那么这样子造成的一个情况呢，就是占星学好像变成了一些语汇、一些词汇，比如说这个行星就是这个意思，这个行星就是那个单词，它好像变成了单词和智力的一个因素，而不是一些实际的经验，是人的，是活生生活出来的一些状况或者情境。
So what I want to try and do is create a depth perception of seeing the different levels, the depths of things, how things are more important or less important, so you can feel it or see it.
我所要去教授的呢，是希望大家能够对占星和能量有一个深度的了解，以及不同层级的一个演化和表现，所以大家呢可以去感受这样的一个能量的展示。
So with the houses, we're measuring the hours of the day.
那么占星学的宫位呢，实际上是代表这个每一天的时间，你在什么时间出生的。
And the circumstances of the day and what we're doing at this time or that time and what these things mean.
那么相关的时间也代表说你每个时间会去做什么事情，代表的这个它的含义是什么。
With the signs of the zodiac, you're dealing with the seasons of the year.
那么12星座呢，就是黄道12个星座呢，可能就是不同的季节，代表不同的季节。
Some people teach that the Aries is like the first house and Taurus is like the second house. It's not true. They're different.
有一些老师会说，会这样去教学，就是白羊座是第一宫，金牛座是第二宫，但是这不是一个非常好的教学方法。
A house is 2 hours of a day.
那么一个宫位呢，就是2个小时，在一天中相当于是2个小时的时间。
A sign is a month of the year.
那么一个星座呢，是一年中的1个月。
Big difference.
是非常大的区别。
The third house,
第3宫
after midnight, is the darkest time of the year, of the day.
是一天中最黑暗的时刻，它是午夜之后。
Gemini is the brightest time of the year.
那么双子座呢，是一年中最光明的、最光亮的时刻。
There has to be a difference.
那么这必须有一个区别，大家看到这当中这两者之间有一个区别。
If you think astrology is just a symbol, well, it's the same symbol. Gemini is like the third house, it's like Mercury. It's just all symbol. You work it, but that's not seeing clearly.
如果大家只是把占星学作为一个就是符号的话，那么会认为说第三宫和双子座是一样的符号，这样是一个错误的误解。
It's a start, but it's too simple.
那么这是太过于简单的去理解占星学。
If you go for an operation and the doctor comes in with a pair of scissors, you're going to say, "Whoa, I don't know."
如果你要去做手术的话，如果这个主刀医生是拿了一堆剪刀过来的话，你可能会说哦，不要吧。
So, to me, astrology is surgical. It's to the moment. Everything's exact. Everything's alive. You know, if someone's trying to talk to you and say they love you, but they're stepping on your foot and they're hurting you, it doesn't matter if they're saying they love you. You're in pain.
那么对我来说，占星学就是活生生的那些东西，就好像是你要去做手术，你就是要非常的精准的去做这个手术，你非常精准的去做这个给别人做这个手术，就好像如果你对别人说我爱你我爱你，但是你不停的踩别人脚的话，其实你是在伤害那个人。
So, the planets are the real energies.
行星是非常真实的能量。
It's like when you meet a person, the first time you meet someone, you get a first impression. When you meet a person, the first time you meet them, you get a first impression, what they look like.
行星就是一个能量，就好像你第一次遇到一个人的时候，你有这样的一个第一印象，就会感受到他的能量。
The second time you meet them, you see something else. You learn a little bit more. You see something else about them.
那么你第二次见到他的时候，你对他又有了一些更深入的理解，你又对他有了深入的印象。
Every time you meet someone, you're encountering something new. You're learning. It's not like a definition. It's alive.
那么你每一次遇到他的时候，你都会学到新的东西，这是一个互动的关系，你不停的在学习，这是一个活生生的能量。
So, the planets being energies, they were always considered the gods. The heavenly beings, the psychological complexes, the different levels of consciousness.
那么行星就是一种能量，它好像就是那种古人认为的这个天空中的神和光明，它也是那种心理学上认为的那一种情意结，甚至是不同的意识层次。
So you can see a picture of Kuan Yin, but if you learn about Kuan Yin or you know more, each time it's not a one-time relationship. It's a growing relationship where you're listening more and more.
那么，如果你看到一个人图片，你可能会对他有一些了解；如果你见到他的话，你会又有加深的理解。所以，学习和理解是一个不断深入的、一次一次深入的过程。
So the planets, they're not thoughts, they're not concepts, they're living beings.
那么，行星并不是一种思维，或者并不是一种概念，它是活生生的存在的能量。
They're inside of us and outside of us.
它们在我们之内，也在我们之外。
They represent functions in life.
它们代表着生命中的不同的功能。
How we function, how we're being. We function many levels.
它代表着我们如何在这个社会中运作，以及我们如何去实现我们的功能。我们实现的功能有不同的层次。
So, if you're thinking of planets, we have 10 fingers. Sun, moon, planets. You get 10 fingers. If you put your fingers into 10 electrical sockets, you're either going to get thrown across the room, or you're going to get stuck in the electricity.
那么，想象一下，行星是有10个行星，我们10个手指，每个手指代表一个行星。如果我们把10个手指都插在那个就是插缝的那个头里面的话，那可能要么你就是被弹到房间的另一面，要么你就手指紧紧的被吸收在这个插座里面。
So, if when you're stuck in the electricity, a Virgo comes up to you and says, "Please define what you're experiencing," you're going to say, "Just turn the electricity off, or I'll kill you."
如果你手被这个就是插在那个电插座里面拔不出来，然后就是如果一个处女座来到你身边的话，他说：“赶快定义一下你现在在经历的是什么吧。”然后我就会说：“你赶紧把电关了，要不然我把你给杀了。”
It's alive. You know, if someone's going to say, I like you, I want to kiss you, I'm going to walk up like this, and I'm just going to turn my head sideways, and then I'm going to kiss you. It's spoiled the kiss, right?
那这是活生生的一个能量。如果有人会跟你说：“哎呀，我要亲你了，我现在马上过来了，我马上过来了，还有这一点点路，然后我要凑过来亲你了，真亲你了啊！”这就会把一个亲吻的过程给。
You're better off to give the kiss. If you get hit, you don't get hit. You try it. It's alive.
那么就是像活生生的能量，你要么就是去上去亲，要么就不亲，或者是你被人打一耳光，反正你就是得去做这个事情。
You can see who's alive. You're walking along. You're doing things. You're alive. You can see who's not alive. Oh, it's so terrible.
你就是这样活生生的能量，你就是行星代表了这些活生生的能量。你就是如果有些人他是就是好像是那种我们很没有能量的，你就会看到他是这样子的这种感觉。
So, the planets are the energies. They pick up an attitude by the sign of the zodiac they're in.
那么行星是能量，他们会遇到了他们所在的星座的时候呢，就会渲染出这个星座的态度。
So the attitude biases the planet.
那么这个态度呢，会让这个行星有它的这个渲染出新的色彩。
You can have a springtime bias. You can have a winter bias. It's going to condition the attitude, not a thing, the attitude.
那么行星的能量呢，它可能是会被渲染出一种夏天的或者是一种秋天的色彩和能量，它只是代表说你会有一个新的能量、新的态度。
Once a planet picks up the attitude, it puts the energy with that attitude into the affairs of the house.
那么一旦这个行星遇到了这个态度呢，它把这个态度呢，就是结合到它的能量里面，然后呢，在这个它所在的宫位去产生作用、产生功能。
And it does it easy or difficult, depending on whether the stressful aspects are there.
那么，行星的能量是简单的、容易的，或者是困难的去表达的话呢，就是在于它们的相位是困难的还是简单的。
So aspects, you read about the aspects. This is the definition of this aspect. This is the definition of that aspect. So if you have this, you try and define the person by the aspect. The aspect is not a definition. It's the relationship between people, or between planets. So we're in conjunction. I'm right in front of you. I'm talking to you. This is immediate energy. If Over there, we're farther apart. It's more like an opposition. If someone's agreeing with me, yes, it's an energy conjunction. It's not who I am, it's not who they are. The energy between it is coming. So the aspects don't define the energy. The aspects just tell you how much stress is between two people. Sorry, okay, yeah.
那么行星就是我们的很多知识关于就是说相位有很多种区别。那么实际上相位它就是代表两个行星能量之间的一个关系，它的关键词就是关系，它并不是能量。所以呢，其实刚才可以看到说，我走近你的话呢，我在你面前的话呢，就好像就是一个就是我跟你问好，好像就是一个合相，然后我跟远方的同学问好，好像就是一个就是对分相。那么相位呢，它本身并不代表能量，那么它只是行星是代表能量的，它只是表达了两个行星之间的关系，能量是顺畅的，还是具有挑战性的。
So there's many kinds of conjunctions, or squares, or oppositions. There's many kinds. You can have a conjunction between an old man and a young woman, or a young man and a young woman, or the mother and a boy and the husband. You have many different types of conjunctions.
那么如果我们这样理解的话，我们就会知道说，其实合相也有不同种类。比如说，有一个年轻人和一个老人的合相，有一个妈妈和小孩的合相，也有年轻人和年轻人之间的合相，他们之间就是不一样的。
The aspects don't tell you who you are. They tell you how much stress you have.
那么相位呢，并不代表你是谁，它只是告诉你说你的能量是顺畅的还是挑战性的。
So the stress is not good or bad.
那么压力呢，也并不是说好和坏。
If you don't have stress, you don't do anything.
如果你没有压力的话，你不会做任何事情。
So if someone has a chart that's all trines and all nice, say, oh, what a wonderful chart. They're the laziest person in the world.
如果说想象一个人他的星盘全都是和谐相位，全都是就是三分相的话，那么大家可能会说，哎，他太幸运了，但是他可能就是世界上最懒惰的那一个人。
So in a relationship, you want, I want a nice, smooth relationship, no hassles. This is wonderful. You get it? It's so nice, it's boring.
那么大家都会希望说，哎，我需要有一个非常和谐的关系，非常好的这个亲密关系。但是如果你获得了世界上最完美的亲密关系的话，可能会太舒适，然后你会觉得太无聊了。
So as soon as you get the nice, boring relationship, you want some excitement.
一旦你获得了这样的一个和谐但是非常无聊的亲密关系的话，你就会需要寻找兴奋和刺激了。
So then you meet the dangerous Tarzan, or the dangerous person. I can get this. I can deal with this. I get the dangerous person.
然后你会吸引那个危险的人和那个有一点危险的那个人到你生命中来。
But then your stomach's upset. It's upset. There's no peace. You're worried all the time. But it's exciting.
然后呢，你就会觉得受伤或者痛苦，但是这也是很刺激、很让你觉得兴奋的一件事情。
So stress and excitement and stress makes healthy babies.
压力可以带来一个健康的宝宝。
But it's not comfortable.
但压力它并不是非常舒适的一件事情。
So is life comfortable?
人生是一件舒适的事情吗？
Any day, any minute? No, it changes. It's not comfortable. It's happening.
生命的话，每天都会有不同，它会变化，它会不停的变化。
So there's 4 levels. The signs and the houses, they're like scales. Attitudes, circumstances.
那么就是星座呢和这个宫位呢，它就像是你的态度和发生事情的领域。
But the moving lights, the planets, they're the gods. Those moving lights, they give us the day, cycle of the day, they give us the year, they give us the phases of the moon. The 3 eternal cycles that have been measuring life forever.
那么这些天上移动的光，也就是古人叫做的神，古人称之他们为神。他们其实他们的变化和运作是定义的年、定义的日，还有定义的月亮的月相。
So you don't have to get too complicated to see this. But we run across astrology, we see it in our mind first. We learn it in our head first. Then you have to relearn it.
那么我们并不需要把事情就是占星学弄得过于复杂，可能开始的时候我们是用头脑在去学占星学，然后我们可以用一种新的方式去体验它。
So have you ever you have a favorite song and it comes on the radio and you hear, wow, this is my favorite song, listen to this, I love it, I got to talk about it, and the person talks through the whole song.
如果你听到一个非常喜欢的这个歌曲的话，在录音机里面会听到一个喜欢的歌，你会说，哎呀，我太喜欢这首歌，我太喜欢这首歌了。结果你在这首歌曲播放的时候一直在说这个话，所以你就是错过了听这首歌的机会。
That's like most astrologers.
所以说，好像大多数占星师一样。
We talk through the song.
我们就是错过了听歌曲的这个机会。
But how do we listen?
但是我们如何聆听呢？
So most astrologers, everyone is their own feudal lord. I understand this. These are my teachings. There's another feudal lord. They have their students, and we all think we know better than everybody else.
每一个占星师都会认为他们懂得比别人都多。
I'm better English than you're better English. I know more than you. It's crazy. Like any business, you'd think you put a bunch of astrologers together, you could solve the world problems.
就好像说我的英文比你的英文好，我的企业比你的企业好，就好像我们把所有的占星师都集合在一起，我们可以拯救整个世界一样。
But you end up arguing over techniques.
但是我们占星师大家都会互相去争论每个人的技法是怎么样的。
So most astrology right now, when you do a consultation, if you're saying your planet's here, this means this, you're just giving a grammar lesson.
那么，如果很多占星师在咨询的时候告诉你说，哎，你的这个行星在这儿代表什么，那个行星在那儿代表什么，其实你就好像在说一个语法课一样的。
Yeah, you're not using the language, you're just giving a grammar lesson.
那么你并不是在应用或者运用这个这门语言的艺术，你只是把这个语汇告诉大家。
So words are the lowest form of astrology.
那么这些语汇或者组词造句其实是占星最低等的一个应用。
You should be able to look at a chart and see, oh, if this person needs a hug.
你需要去看一个星盘，然后看出来说这个人需要一个拥抱。
Really, you should be able to look at the person and just give them a hug.
实际上，你应该看到这个星盘，见到这个人的时候，就马上给他一个拥抱。
So if you're happy and you're in love, you don't need astrology.
如果你开心，或者是你很开心，过得非常幸福，然后就是沉浸在爱河中，也许不需要占星学。
When you're heartbroken, when everything's falling apart, when you're dying, and you think everything's over, then you need astrology. How do I get out of this? Oh, there's got to be a better way.
那么，如果你现在就是伤心心碎，或者是你遭遇了非常糟糕的事情，可能你会想说，哎呀，我需要一个什么事情来拯救我，一定有什么办法，我需要占星学。
Yeah, the prerequisite for being a good astrologer, you have to have had at least one heartbreak.
那么，要成为一个好的占星师，你必须至少有一次心碎的经历。
The more heartbreaks, the more devastations, the more disruptions you have, the more you can talk to people about them.
那么，越多的心碎经历，越多的这个挫折啊，可能会让你更能理解别人，可能会让你成为一个更深刻的占星师。
Someone could be 90 years old, they're living on the street, they got nothing, they're just barely getting by, and yet they've lived 90 years of astrology. Someone could be 90 years old, have nothing, be on the street, but they have lived 90 yeyears of astrology.
那么有一些人，他可能就是活了90岁，他可能是在街边流浪的一个流浪者。他虽然一无所有，但是他也经历了90年的占星的时光，就是90年的这个生命的时光。
They survived all the bad aspects, all the transits. They lived through them, they experienced them, and they're still here.
他们就是承受了所有这些艰难的相位，所有的这些土星的回归，这些所有的挑战和压力，他们也活下来了。
Even if they're damaged, angry, bigoted, they lived through it. There's something to learn from them.
那么，即使他们那个流浪者，即使他一无所有，但是他活过了那些痛苦挑战，那么对于他来说，他人生的经历还是有值得我们学习的地方。
Your parents may have lived together for 50 years and been together, and you think that's boring. Oh, why did they stay together? What's happening? But when you try to have a relationship, if you make it past 1 year, you're lucky.
你的父母可能生活在一起50年了，然后他们在一起，你可能会觉得，哎呀，他们的生活太无聊了，他们两个人在一起怎么会在一起这么久的时间？我根本不可能有他们这样的想过他们这样的生活。但是如果当你去进入亲密关系的话，当你如果能够在1年以后能够两个人关系活下来的话，你已经非常幸运了。
So I'm going to try to focus on planets. And there's a type of psychology called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And it's like if you don't eat properly, and you don't sleep properly, and you're living in a war zone or something, how can you study? How can you think?
那么我今天晚上的那个主讲呢，主要是会集中在这个行星的能量这块上面。那么也有一些
If you're not living secure, if you don't eat, sleep, be okay, you can't think right.
那么如果你没有很好的去生活，没有很好的营养，或者没有很好的去饮食的话，你没有办法很好的去生活。
If you can't think right, how can you make good choices?
如果你不能很好的去思考的话，你如何去做出正确的决定呢？
If you can't make good choices, how do you find confidence?
如果你没有办法做出好的决定的话，你如何建立自己的自信呢？
If you can't find confidence, how do you do anything?
如果你没有自信的话，你如何做任何事情呢？
If you do things without confidence and you're taking wrong actions, how do you get a good understanding?
如果你没有自信做了错的事情的话，你如何对生命有正确的理解呢？
If you don't get understanding, if you don't have a good understanding, how do you get respect or accomplish anything?
如果你没有正确的理解和理念的话，你如何成就事情，如何获得尊重呢？
So there's different importance. I went to the moon, your feelings, your thinking, Mercury, Venus, your choices, Sun, your confidence, Mars, your action, Jupiter, your understanding, and Saturn, your accomplishments.
那么我刚刚讲的就是不同的能量的层级。首先呢，就是月亮，月亮就是你的情绪；接下来就是水星，你的思维和理念；接下来就是火星，你的行动；接下来就是Venus
Your choices.
金星你的选择，然后呢是木星你的理解，最后呢就是土星你受到的尊重。
So there's so many systems of learning planets. The planets relate to parts of the body, the planets relate to the signs, the planets do this, the planets do that. They're all concepts.
那么有太多学习行星的体系了，比如说行星和身体的这个结合，行星和那个相应的这个去进行学习。
It's useful. It's how we start. It's the gateway to go in.
那么这是也是非常好的方法，这是我们进入占星的一个门吧。
But when you understand a planet without words,
但是你如果能够不通过语言去学习行星的话，
then you can talk about it with your own words.
那这样的话，你就可以用你自己的语汇、自己的语言去描述能量了。
That's very different than, oh, Noel Till or Robin Armstrong said this, or this book said this. No. You see the energy and you talk with your own language.
这好像并不是说诺泰尔说了什么 ，Robin 说了什么，而是说你用你自己的语言去描述这个能量。
So these are just some old drawings.
那么这是一个非常古老的这个图画。
But in the drawings, this is French. It's probably about 100, 200 years old.
那么这是100-200年的历史。
Yeah. Oh, sorry. You can see here's the moon for the stomach, goes around. There's Mercury for the mind. Mercury. Oh, here's Mercury's in the intestines. The Venus is in the heart. They just go around. Different ones will have different ways of this, but really, there's each one is a different layer. Moon, Mercury, Venus, Sun, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn.
那么这其实就是一个古老的绘画，它代表行星和人体的这个联系。其实从下到上就是月亮，然后水星、金星、太阳、火星、木星和最上面的土星，它其实就是刚刚老师讲的这个能量的层级。
This is in Western astrology the beginning of medical astrology, the planets that are parts of the body.
那么在西方呢，这就是这幅图可能也就是医疗占星的开始，它是把行星和身体的不同的部位进行联系的。
In India, you have the different chakras.
那么在印度呢，我们有7个脉轮。
And each chakra is a different planet.
那么每一个脉轮呢，就是不同的行星。
A different level of consciousness.
那么每一个脉轮呢，也是代表不同意识的层级的。
A different state of being.
是一种不同的这个存在的状态。
In Chinese astrology, it's a number system.
那么在中国的生肖呢，中国的这个是一个数字系统。
It's numerology and symbolical associations. It's not astrology.
那么中国呢，其实它是一个数学，它是数理的逻辑和这个一些推导，它并不是占星学。
It's a part of astrology.
它是占星学的一部分。
Half of astrology has mathematical concepts and meaning from them, but half is experience.
那么占星学的一半呢，其实就是数学的部分，它其实有一些相关的这些意义，但是另一部分呢，就是非常重要的，就是经验和经历。
So there's a difference between symbol and concepts and experience. It's hot out, it's cold out, it's light, it's dark. We're up, it's daylight, it's time to do something. It's nighttime, it's time to... That's practical. It's different than this is the first sign, or this is the third sign, or this is... That's different.
那么，一个符号和一个概念呢，和这个能量是不一样的，它是有区别的。所以就是说，如果说你把行星理解为这个不同的能量的话，实际上就是你去看就是白天你应该去做什么，晚上是应该做什么，这是不同的，它是一种不同的，就是开拓了新的理解行星的一个境界。
So together they make part of the magic of astrology.
如果结合在一起的话，它们就会给占星带来一个魔力。
But in Chinese astrology, the 5 elements are really the 5 planets turned into symbols.
那么实际上在中国的话呢，就是中国古代这个5个元素实际上就是行星，他们后来又把这个变成了数字数学。
They're used for medicine. They're used for the same associations as the planets. You have the fireball, the wood ball, the water ball, the metal ball, the earth ball.
那在中国古代呢，他们这些就是也通过这个元素呢，就是产生了中国的中医学。然后呢，也是比如说这个5颗行星是水星代表了水球，金星代表了金球，木星代表了木球等等。
But by working with the numbers and abstractions, you learn a lot, but it's an abstraction. It's not the reality.
那么去学习这个数字的联系，实际上是抽象的，是一个概念性的，但是它和现实有这样的一个脱离，它并不是现实的实际。
So the big difference between East and West, those 5 elements are the planets, not elements, like in Western astrology.
那么西方和东方的这个差别，实际上就是说，这个5个元素，中国5个元素，它其实本源就是占星学里的行星。
So when you have a moving planet, it's a living being, it's changing, it causes stress, tension. It's not just sitting there.
在你生命中你经历了一个行星的时候，它就是一个移动的光，它来到你的生命中，它给你带来不同的周期，带来压力或者不同的挑战，它是活生生的能量。
When you know astrology, you can see how the gods move and work.
那么，当你学习占星学的时候，你就知道说，当时古代人认为的天上的神，它的运作是怎么样的，它给我们生命带来什么样的影响。
If you just relate to the symbol, you believe it.
如果你只是和这些符号去联系的话，你只是去相信它。
So you can believe astrology. I believe it works. I'll tell you, it's like this.
你可以只是仅仅去相信它，我相信它是这样运作的。
That's very different than, oh, geez, you made a mistake. Why did you marry that guy?
那这很好，这就好像说，哎，你犯了一个错误，你为什么去嫁给那个男人
Different. So, with all the web and all the information coming in, we're getting all the systems coming together again. We're finding out information about everything.
那么，因为网络的发展呢，我们就是拥有非常多的信息，我们的信息很多老的信息也会向我们涌来。
But 90% of the information isn't worth necessarily listening to.
那么，但是90%的信息其实并不是值得我们去学习的。
This is another old drawing.
这也是一张非常古老的绘画。
You have the planets moving around, you have the signs higher up, and you have standing on the earth.
那么大家可以看到说这个人他是站在地球上的，那么中间呢是有行星的移动的这一块，然后最上面这一圈呢是就是黄道的12个星座。
So always, our bodies on the earth are dark on the earth. They don't give off light. We move, but if there's light out, we can move. We can see. We get guided by light.
我们的这个身体呢，脚就是我们的脚永远是踩在这个大地上的。那么就是天上的光呢，就是这些移动的行星呢是指引我们的。就好像说在光明的时候，在天亮的时候，我们是可以移动的，因为这些光在指引着我们。
We get up in the morning. We go out to do business. We come home at night. It's light.
那么我们早上起来，然后我们去做工作，我们去上班，然后晚上就回家。实际上这就是光，是光的这个渐长和消散。
We have attitudes. I'm an Aries. Get out of my way. I'm a Capricorn. Go. You do this for me.
我们有不同的态度。如果是白羊座的话，你走开，别挡着我的路。如果是摩羯座的话，你给我做这个，你给我做那个。
I'm a Gemini. I just want to have fun. That's whatever.
如果我是双子的话，我就想寻乐的，大家跟我一起玩吧。
So each one goes out for that day to get up, go out, do things, come back, and gets very different things happening.
那么每一个人带着这样的态度去生活的话，他每天出去会经历不同的事情。
Okay, so the planets have always been the lights that guide us. The moon phases, the growing cycles, the year, when to plant, when not to plant, the day, what to do, what not to do. There's always been study. It's the archetype, the primal archetype of life.
那么行星就是那一种就是光的这个变化，行星的光它带来了就是月相不同的这个年日，然后它是那一种最主要的那一种原型，生命的原型。
So now when you look at planets, they're not all the same thing.
那我们看到行星的话，它们并不是一样的东西。
Mercury, Venus, Earth, a small little dot.
水星、金星、地球，非常小。
That is our important dot.
但是这是我们非常重要的，对我们非常重要的行星。
So there's Mars, there's Jupiter, there's Saturn. These are the planets. These are the planets we can see.
那么接下来呢是火星，然后木星和土星，这些行星都是我们肉眼可以看见的行星。
These are the planets that send light back to Earth.
那么这些行星呢，都是把太阳光折射到地球上的行星。
They're the guiding lights. They deserve respect or watching.
他们是指引的光，他们值得我们的尊重和我们的仰望。
The names of the days of the week: Sunday, Moon Day. French is Mardi, Mars Day. Jeudi, Jupiter Day. Venus, Vendredi, Friday, Saturn Day. Wars had been fought whether Saturday or Sunday or Friday should be the day of rest.
那么行星呢，也是代表就是我们的每一个星期，比如说星期天就是 Monday，然后星期一就是 Monday， 星期天就是 Sunday， 就是行星的这个不同的这个每一天都会相应一个行星。
So, okay, one second. This is just a horoscope. It's Carl Jung, but this is how we normally. You get a computer, you print out a chart, you get the chart. For me, I put the zodiac even signs, and I let the houses change and be different sizes.
那么这是一个就是星盘的例子。那么这是卡尔荣格的星盘。对我来说，我的星盘，这是我惯用的这个方式。那么大家可以看到说，我外圈的是那个就是12个星座，那么它是就是相等的，每一个是相等的。然后宫位呢是每个宫的大小是不同的。
So you can see the first house here, almost 2 signs.
大家可以看到说，第一宫的话，好像就跨越了2个星座。
And the 10th house, just half a sign.
那么第10宫的话呢，只是半个星座。
These are valuable differences, distinctions.
那么这是非常有价值的这个区别和差异啊。
Nobody is equal.
没有人是完全相等的、相同的。
There's no such thing.
世界上没有这样的事情。
Everybody has their own matrix.
每一个人都有他们自己的迷思。
And we collect our own experiences. Every minute, every day we collect experiences. But it's our matrix.
那么每天我们都会经历新的事情，这些新的经历又造成了我们新的迷思，这些都是我们整个的这个能量。
The horoscope is the blueprint or the DNA of your matrix.
那么，星图呢，就是你的这个迷思的这样的一个生命迷思的一个 DNA 或者是蓝图。
So simply, we can see the planets as symbols.
那么我们可以看到说这些符号呢，就是行星。
We see the signs they're in.
我们看到行星在不同的星座。
We see the house that they're in.
我们看到行星在不同的宫位。
And we see the aspects. Here, red is the stress aspects.
那么我们可以看到不同的行星之间不同的相位，在这儿呢，红色是那些有压力的相位。
Conjunction, square, or opposition.
那么合相、对分相。
Conjunction, square, the opposition.
和四分相和对分相、合相都是挑战性的相位，有压力的相位。
So this is a chart with a lot of stress.
那么这是一张拥有非常多的压力的挑战的星盘。
It's not. It means there'll be stress in life, but a lot will get done.
那么这意味着说，虽然这个人他生命中拥有非常多的压力和挑战，但是他在生命中也成就了很多事情。
So this is the simple organization of astrology and of information that we usually work with.
那么这就是星图，就是非常简单的，我们去运用去做工具，运用我们去理解一个人的工具。
So with astrology today, especially the astrology from the States and the old Hellenistic and the early astrology, the traditional astrology, they say astrology began 2500 BC in Mesopotamia.
在西方占星学中呢说，占星学是公元前2500年前在米索不达米亚发源的。
So what they mean is the first horoscope was found there. The first drawing of a horoscope.
那么他们所说的意思呢是说，第一个占星的星盘的这个绘画是在米索不达米亚那儿发现的。
That's the beginning of horoscopy.
那么这是星座学或者占星学的起源。
Of the numbers, 12 signs, 12 houses, 10 planets, and of working them in a chart form like this.
那么也就是说，那些复数的一些结合，比如说12个宫位，10个行星，然后呢就形成这样的一个星盘。
But using the planets to watch as guides to how we live on the planet, that has always been.
那么，但是呢，其实从古至今以来，我们人类一直是去仰望星空，去获得这些天空中的神的指引，去更好的在我们地球上生活。
It was in China 3300 BC. They were watching what's above, what's below, how the planets were working. It's always been there.
那么，在公元前3300年之前呢，在中国古代，古人们就开始仰望星空，他们就会观察到如在其上，如在其下，每个人都和星体的运作是有这样息息相关的关系的。
So there's many beliefs, many understandings, many different ways of coming at astrology.
其实，在占星学里面本身呢，也有很多的理念系统，有很多的这个学习，有很多的这个不同的理念和派别。
You learn something from everything.
那么你从所有的这些东西中吸取养分去学习占星学。
But when you're dealing with the mathematics, it's fascinating, it's interesting. But when you get to planets, it's not about numbers, it's energy.
那么当你去有理解数学或者什么的时候，数字的时候，你会觉得哎呀，这太有趣了，这些数理就是推算逻辑太有趣了。但是当你接触行星的时候，它们是能量，是活生生的能量。
This is a chart that adds color.
那么这是一张增加了色彩的这个星盘。
And it adds the I Ching hexagrams.
那么它也把易经的这个卦象结合在里面了。
And the I Ching hexagrams are a zodiac of 64 divisions.
那么易经的卦象呢，就是说这个12星座有64个，分了64个部分。
So the planets, each line in the hexagram is a degree of the zodiac.
那么每一个卦象的这一个线，每一条线其实就是黄道的这个1度，代表1度。
So if you have a violent Mars,
如果你有一个非常暴力的火星，
and it's in a degree with a solid line, an active line,
那么这个火星的度数是在这个实线上的，就是卦象的实线上的。
you push that out.
你把这个火星的能量就是推出去。
If it's in a broken line that's passive, it happens to you.
那么如果是火星是在这个虚线的这一卦象的这个虚线上的话，你是吸纳性的，所以你会把这个愤怒吸引到你身上
So
来。
I'm not staying on this. This is just accessing different databases of information.
那么我并不会去讲更多，去引申更多，但是我只是想告诉大家的是，我只是说通过这样的这个增加了这样新的这个知识的话，你可以去到更多的数据库去获取信息。
You don't need to know all of these things to work with astrology.
你不需要理解这些东西去学占星学。
But as you work with astrology and you get deeper and deeper into spiritual or personal concerns, these things become very valuable.
那么，然而当你学占星学越来越深入、越来越深入、越来越灵性的话呢，可能这些东西会对你非常有价值、非常实用。
Okay, so this is what a chart really looks like.
那么，我认为它是一个星盘，它真正应该长的样子。
You have the circle of the signs.
我上圈的是这个12星座，
You have the circle of the houses.
然后下面的是宫位。
And each planet has its own circle.
那么每一个行星呢都有它的这个一个圈儿。
So they're different levels. They move at different speeds.
它们行星呢是运转的速度是不同的，它们也是不同的代表不同层级。
So the moon moves the fastest once a month. It's just moving around.
那么月亮移动的最快，它一个月转一圈，所以它的这个转动速度是非常迅速的。
But it has high tides, it has low tides, it has moods. In 1 month, many experiences.
那么，但是月亮呢会带来潮汐、潮涨，也会有一些情绪，引动一些情绪，所以在一个月之内呢，我们经历了很多情绪的变化。
It's the first it's the first planet we notice. It's our moon, it's our mother, it's our feelings.
那么这是我们第一个了解、第一个接触、第一个感受的行星，因为这是我们的情绪，这是我们的母亲，这是我们从哪儿来。
So how conscious or how close are you to your mother?
那么你跟你的母亲的关系如何？你跟你母亲的这个有多少意识？
How good of a mother are you?
你是多好的一个母亲？
It gets heavy, right? It's
这样的话题会比较沉重吧？
You meet a guy, I want to be mother me, take care of me. Who needs this?
你遇见一个男人，他会说：“哎呀，做我的妈妈吧，照顾我吧。”你会说：“什么意思？”
This is all moon level, moon stuff.
这是一个在月亮的层级运作的情况。
One sec. When you go up to Mercury,
然后当我们来到这个水星的时候，
the moon is your memory. I want to eat. I want to think. I need this. It's just basic things.
月亮就是我想要去吃，我想去受到喂养，我想要去获得这样的一个照顾。那么这是一个非常基础的功能。
But Mercury is your mind. And how do I make sense of this? What can I do? Can I make this better? Can I work this better? How do I do? It's your mind. It's a different thing than the feelings.
那水星呢？它和我们情绪的能量是不同的，它是一种思维，它是一种心智，它就是在那儿去想说，哎，这个我能做什么？我能不能做这个？我做这个能不能做得好？我做这个更好，还是做那个更好？
But if you don't feel good, if you haven't slept well, you're hungry and you haven't eaten, you can't think right.
那么，如果你没有睡好，或者是你没有吃好，如果说你没有休息好，或者是说你肚子饿了，但是你没有吃的话，那么你就没有办法更好的思维。
If you can't think right and you're talking to people, what are you saying?
如果你没有办法很好的思维的话，你的心智没有办法很好运作的话，你跟别人聊天的话，别人会说，哎，你在说些什么呀？
So we're going to spend all weekend on the planets going up and down, but this idea of seeing the different cycles, it's a depth perception.
那么这个周末呢，我们都会去想行星的能量。那么行星的能量，不同的周期，不同的层级，那么我们会有一个非常深度的洞悉。
It's just a symbol around a chart, but it's not just all these symbols. It's each one is a different layer.
那么它 它其实是在星盘上的这个不同的符号，但是它不仅仅是符号，它是星盘中能量的不同的层级。
So this circle is like your backbone.
那么这个就是这些一圈一圈的，好像就像我们的脊椎一样。
Each planet is somewhere around the backbone on your nervous system.
那么每一个行星呢，其实就是不同的这个在你的身上不同层级的影响的这个神经的能量。
But if you look at the chart, it's like you're looking down the top of the head.
那么当我们看到一个普通的星盘的时候，其实我们好像就是从我们头顶看，从上看往下看下来一样。
And you're just looking at this flat image.
我们只是看到一个平的图。
So when I do a chart, I don't explain astrology. I remake it in my mind. I think what each thing means, how it develops, and as I see it develops this way, how is that happening for this person? I redo it all the time. It's not a memory.
那么我去解读星盘的话呢，我并不是去根据这个星图去讲解，而是说我重新的去通过我自己内在的一套语言去重新解码，然后呢去把这个能量表达出来。
I've been an astrologer since 1970.
那么我从1970年开始就成为占星师了。
I had color then in my hair.
然后当时我的头发还是有颜色的。
But when I first had my chart done, I had a reaction.
那么当我第一次就是找一个占星师去解读星盘的时候，我是非常有情绪的。
You mean I'm supposed to be like this?
我说你认为我应该是这样的吗？
I grew up, my parents, don't do this, you can't do this, you can't. Everything people told, my teachers told me, don't do this, don't do that. It's what I was supposed to do.
那么我从小到大的时候呢，就是我的老师、我的父母、家长都会跟我说，你不能做这个，你不能做那个，你不能做这个，你不能做那个。但是那个占星师说我应该做的，就是他们说我不应该做的那些事情，我就是应该是这样的。
At that moment, astrology became my lifetime friend.
从那个时候开始，占星学成了我一辈子的朋友。
The first time I got feedback that I'm okay.
当我第一次给人解读星盘的时候，别人说我还行。
Okay, so when you put the aspects in,
当我们把相位放进来的时候，
it's all the nervous systems going up your spine.
那么这就是所有的这些神经系统，在我们绕着我们脊椎向上的那些神经系统。
It has medical effects. It has cerebral effects. It's not just a symbol.
那么它有一些医疗性的这个功能，也代表我们人体的功能。实际上它并不是一些符号。
So you have the signs and the colors.
我们有12星座，然后呢，每个星座都有它们独特的颜色。
When you put the planets in it, you see where the planets are.
然后我们把这个行星放在上面。
Everyone has all the planets, all the signs.
我们每个人都有所有的行星，所有的星座。
But the planets pick up attitude.
但是每个行星会渲染它的这个态度。
And your attitude will be different than someone else's attitude.
你的态度会和别人的态度是不一样的。
Have you ever tried to change somebody's attitude?
你曾经想要改变某个人的态度吗？
I'll stay with him. One day he'll change. One day he'll change. You're already in trouble.
你会想他某一天一定会改变，他某一天一定会改变。你这么想的话，你就会有麻烦。
I won't be myself. I'll just play like this to be in a relationship because it will change. It's not real.
如果你想要改变那个人的话，那么这并不是一个真实的事情。
If you're being yourself, you're alive, things are meaningful, and it's going how you feel, and the relationship is there, that's nice. But if the relationship isn't supporting that, what are you doing?
如果你做的是真实的自己，表达的是自己真实的能量，那么你的关系都是运作良好的话，那还是不错的。如果说你并没有做你真实的自己，那么对你来说，你并没有做真实的自己的话，那么你的关系又怎么会是真实的呢？
If it weren't for babies, nobody would stay together. If it weren't for babies, nobody would stay together for 50 years.
那么如果说是对小孩都有起作用的话，没有人会在一起或者50年，超过50年。
You know, once a baby's out, we have to take care of this, we have to do this. And then you can't bring up a baby by a plan. It just happens, and you're dealing with it. And you get helped or you don't get helped. You can't make a plan to bring up a baby.
你不能就是有计划去带来这个小孩。
You have to just do it.
你需要的就是去做这个事情。
If you have a guy that wants to help, that's good.
那么你如果有人想要帮忙或者指导你，那也可以。
If you don't, it might even be better.
如果没有的话，可能会更好。
So the planets come in, they're in their own place, unique to the moment you're born.
那么这个行星呢，在不同的位置上，在你出生的时候，它们是在某个特殊的位置上的。
At the moment you're born, you're pure potential.
那么在你出生的时候呢，你是纯粹的潜能。
Everything you can do in your life, it's already in you.
你一生中能做的所有的事情，能成就的所有的事情，它其实都已经在你内在了。
How much you get of it depends on you.
你能够实现多少，你能够实现多少潜能，就在于你自己。
So, okay. Then the aspects of stress comes in. The same thing happens down below. The planet, there's the houses.
当这个我们加入相位的话呢，就看到了挑战和压力。那么下面的是宫位。
Planets are in the houses.
那么行星在不同的宫位。
The aspects are there.
那么相位也在上面。
But if you don't know someone's time of birth, and you just try and rectify it, you think you can do that, you're better off to work without it and just work with the planets and the signs. There's a lot of information, but if you change a chart quickly, you're making life and death decisions without being sure.
那么如果你没有一个人准确的出生时间的话呢，我建议就是说，如果你只是花几分钟去做校正的话，可能是一个非常危险的事情，因为你是利用这个事情星盘去帮助别人做生死的抉择，或者做非常人生关键的决定。所以说呢，人生非常关键的决定。所以说呢，我建议大家会先从行星和星座来去解读，因为行星和星座它们也带来非常丰富的信息。
This is a big debate in astrologers. I know how to rectify it. I can rectify anybody's chart in 10 minutes. I can do this. I'm the best astrologer.
那么在占星学里面，就是占星学界呢也有很多的争论。有些人说我是一个很好的这个身世校正，我会做很好的身世校正，我会花10分钟就完成一个身世校正。
And some people are better than not, better than others at doing this.
有些人做身世校正比另外一些人做得更好。
Some of the best people I knew that rectified. If they want to rectify a chart, they say, give me a retainer of $2,000, I'll start.
Retainer of $2,000?
Yeah, just give me $2,000 in advance, I'll start to work on your chart and see if it's correct. And as I adjust it, it may cost you $10,000 because it's a lot of time.
那么最好的那个身世校正的这个占星师会说，你要给我$2000，事先给我$2000。如果你要我真的做得很准的话，我会要花很多钱，因为这需要花费我非常多的时间。
For myself, I take a couple of years to adjust the chart.
如果是我的话，我会花1年来做校正。
I work with what's common sense between this time and that time, take the middle, and then I watch if things are faster or slower. I'm not quick to just change it.
我会去花很多时间看这一些事情发生在这一年和那一年之间，然后去做一些调整，但是会花我很多时间，我是比较慢的。
If I don't know the time, I don't use the houses.
如果我不知道时间的话，我就不用宫位系统了。
What's left? The planets, the signs, the aspects, the transits, the progression. There's lots left.
那么剩下的是什么呢？剩下的就是行星、星座、相位、行星的推进、行星的这个行进，这些信息非常非常大，非常非常有用。
But if you only know there's 12 houses and everything happens in a house, you take away the houses, there's nothing left.
如果你只是用这个宫位为主的话，你把宫位拿走了，那什么也没有了。
Okay. Then you have the aspects, the planets and the aspects.
那么这就是行星间的相位。
And the basic cycle, the basic horoscope.
那么这是一个星图的基本的结构。
When we look at a symbol of a planet on a chart, it seems big.
那么当我们看到这个星图中这个行星的符号的话，看上去比较大。
But the size of the sun and the moon on a chart is 1/2 of 1 degree. 1/2 of 1 degree, about the thickness of a pencil.
就是
How the size of a planet? If we look at the chart, we see the symbol of the sun. It's really just a dot.
那么我们看到星图中的这个行星的话，它只是一个像铅笔的这个铅笔芯那样的一个圆圈这么大小。
So when we see the symbols, we think they're all the same. They're all the same intensity.
那么当我们看到这些符号的话，我们会说，哎，这些行星的这个好像能量都是差不多的，它们的这个权重都是差不多，但是这是不正确的。
Okay. So, okay, let's just. Okay. When we're born, we come out of our mothers. We take the first breath.
那么当我们出生的时候呢，我们从我们母亲体内出来了，然后我们吸了第一口的空气。
We switch from the umbilical cord to breathing.
然后我们开始了第一口呼吸。
That's the great beginning. That's the beginning of your individual life, separate from your mother.
这是非常重要的开启和开始的时刻，这是你和母体分开的时刻，这也是你生命之光开始的时刻。
Before that, you're 2 souls in 1 body.
那么在那之前呢，你和你的母亲是在一个身体之内的2个灵魂。
You're born and you're separate from that.
当你出生的时候，你和母体分离了。
In the first day, every 6 hours, it's life and death.
那么
It's critical.
那么在你刚出生的时候呢，每6个小时，其实对你来说都是生命关键的时刻，那就是好像生死的时刻一样。
If something's going to be really wrong or not, it's going to show up in 6 hours, 12 hours, 18 hours, 24 hours, as the world turns.
那么每隔6个小时，实际上对新生婴儿来说都是非常关键的，因为当你新生婴儿有任何问题的时候，在这个时刻都会出现显现。
This first experience, we're not thinking. We're just in our bodies. It's sensitive. We feel hot, cold, wet, dry.
那么当我们在母体的时候，我们并没有思维或者思想，然后我们只是感受说是热的、冷的，还是这些水啊，或者是那种感受。
It's just physical. It's painful, but it's alive.
那么这是一种身体的感受，那么它也是活生生的。
See, if we were that sensitive when we're older, oh my goodness.
如果当我们变老的话，我们还是这么敏感的话，那就很糟糕了。
That could be fantastic, or it could be terrible.
它可能会也可能是很好的，也可能很糟糕。
But every day that goes by, we experience hot, cold, light, dark. Our mother hugs us and we want it, or she doesn't. We're just experiencing being in a body outside of a body.
那么每一天的话呢，我们都会经历冷热、光明、黑暗，就好像说我们每一天都是来到了这个母体之外，都在经历母体之内的那一些时刻。
Every day in our life we do this.
每一天，生命中的每一天，我们都在做这些事情。
But after a month goes by, we've done this 30 times.
那么在1个月以后呢，我们已经经历了30天这样的事情了。
It becomes familiar.
那么我们就变得熟悉了。
We begin to feel a pattern.
我们就好像感受到了一种模式。
And then we enter the moon.
那么我们就理解了月亮。
The moon is your memory.
月亮是你的记忆。
I came from here. This was my mother. This feeds me. We have a feeling, an instinct, but it's your memory.
那么月亮其实是来自母亲的，母亲是怎么喂养我的，母亲是怎么照顾我的，我是在母体中是怎么感受的，这些都是我们的记忆。
Your ability to be sympathetic, to be nurturing, to care for someone, to be cared for, to feel okay. This is all the moon.
那么去感觉到那样的这个去获得滋养、获得照顾，去有这样的同情心，这些都是月亮代表的方面。
But it's easier to see the moon as just your memory. Everything before this moment, before right now, is not real.
那么我们可以把月亮理解为我们的记忆，也就是说，所有的在此 此刻当下的这个之前所有的都不是真实的，
It's just a memory.
它只是我们的记忆。
So we drag our memories like chains.
我们就好像把我们的记忆用这些铁链拖着我们的记忆走。
And everybody we meet, we hit them with our memories.
那么我们遇见的每一个人，我们都会去跟他们去交换我们的这些记忆。
That boy broke my heart. My mother was so mean. My dad wasn't nice. This is so terrible, and that's why I'm the way I am.
那么这个人这么糟糕，就好像我父亲是那么凶的，我母亲这样子对我。
It's just your memories with your attitude in your circumstances coloring it.
那么这好像就只是你的记忆，你的这个星体的能量通过以它独特的态度，在特定的情况下渲染出了这样一种记忆的能量。
Most people live for their memories.
大多数人只是在他的记忆中，生活在他的过去历史中。
They live for their feelings, their memories, their security, to be like mom, to be like the culture we came out of, we live to be the way it was.
那么大多数人都是生活在过去，生活在历史中，生活在这个安全区、舒适区，就好像说我们要长成像我们母亲或者父亲这样的人一样。
For some people, that's safe, that's secure.
那么对一些人来说，这是安全的，这是有安全感的。
For other people, that's a nightmare.
那么对另外一些人来说，这是一个糟糕的事情，这是一个噩梦。
So, is your life more important for where you're going? Are you living more where you're going or more from where you came from?
那么你是更朝向未来去生活的呢，还是更朝向你的过去历史生活的呢？
When you want to go back to an old relationship, you're going back to a memory.
那么当你回到过去的那一个情感关系的时候，或者是回到过去的那一段恋情的时候，你只是回到了记忆，回到了过去。
Why?
为什么？
I've been married 3 times. I've been divorced 3 times. Even knowing astrology.
我结了3次婚，也离了3次婚，即使我精通占星学。
It took me a long time to realize I never knew my wives.
那么我花了很多时间才意识到，我从来没有理解过我的妻子。
I knew who I thought they were. I knew what I wanted. But I didn't see what they wanted or what they needed. I thought I was the perfect answer.
那么我只知道说，我想要什么，我只知道说我理解的它是什么，但是我从来没有想他们要的是什么，他们想要的是什么。我以为我是对他们来说是一个完美的对象。
Now I'm white and old. I have old memories. I'm wiser.
那么现在我满头白发了，我也有一些过去的记忆，我更智慧了。
But when I was enchanted, you can't say no. You're there.
但是当我着迷的时，当我们沉入爱河的时候，我们没有办法抗拒那个吸引力。
Even if you know the chart and you see someone's got this horrible chart, you think, I can deal with that. This is worth it.
其实你知道占星学，其实你看到那个星盘，你说，哎呀，这个星盘，哎呀，这个能量跟我的能量相隔的话太糟糕了。但是你还是觉得说，我是可以去解决这个问题的。
Then 6 months later, you look at the chart and you go, oh gee.
6个月以后，你看到这个星盘说，哦天哪，
What have I done?
我们做了些什么？
So there's a drive to create memories. This is my world now. This is nice. Have a dinner at my place. We'll sit down, have a coffee. We'll talk. We'll make it personal. This is making memories.
那么我们人类都有这样的驱动，去创造一些历史，创造一些彼此的回忆。就比如说，我们一起在一起喝一杯咖啡，或者我们一起坐一下，我们一起聊一下，一起谈一些事情。
So everything you see is the result of all my memories. All the food, all the meals, all the relationships, all the memories shared, all the security. That's me.
所有的这些事情都是一些回忆，都是一些记忆，就好像说这些图片、这些食物、这些经历都是我，都是代表我。
That's you too.
这也是你。
By the time I notice you, I'm already seeing who you were. I'm not seeing who you are.
那么当我，sorry，
By the time I notice you, I'm seeing who you were, not who you are.
当我认识你、理解你的时候，我认识的是你过去的那一些总和，而不是你当下的那个自己。
It's a puzzle for how to get most people live in their moon.
那么这是对每个人都是一个谜题啊！大多数人都是就是生活在他们月亮的那个能量层级的。
They don't grow to anything else.
他们并不成长，并不长大。
It's valid. It's one of the choices in life.
那么这是生命中的一个权利和选择。
But if you had a mother that didn't want to have a kid, and you came in and ruined her life, you're not going to want to be living in your moon.
那么，但是如果说你的母亲她并不想拥有一个小孩，而你出生了，你毁了她的生活，你可能并不想生活在你月亮和你的月亮相应，你不想生活在你的月亮里面。
In China, you have one-person families.
在中国，我们是拥有一个就是独生子女政。
Everyone gets all the attention of their parents. Everything. I'm a spoiled brat. I can always get this. So the moon is very strong.
那么在中国，因为都是独生子女，所以每一个孩子都得到了父母双方非常多的关注，所以在某一个层面上，好像大家都被宠坏了，月亮是变得非常强大了。
If you decide you want to get out of the house, you want to do your own thing, how could you do this?
那么，当你决定说我想要独立，我想要离开家，我想要做自己的事情的时候，你们的父母可能会说：你怎么敢要做这些事情？你怎么会想要去做这些事情？
In some cultures, people get killed for going away from the family.
那么在某一些文化呢，如果这个孩子想要离开家庭的话，会被枪杀，
Or not doing what mom says or what the family says.
或者是不按照这个家族的或者母亲的要求去做某些事情。
But an interesting thing happens when you meet people and you fall in love or you're having personal sexual experiences, you're not thinking about your mother.
那么，当我们就是遇到自己喜欢的人，建立这样亲密关系的时候，我们并不是在想着我们的母亲。
No, that is your turn. It's not your mother.
那么这是你的人生了。
So, the moon in a month, we go through a cycle. So most of our habits are based on the past. That's a memory. That's the moon.
那么月亮就是30天的这样的一个周期。那么我们大多数的习惯，我们大多数的行为都是建立在习惯和这个过去历史中的。
If you're afraid of the dark, if you don't want to be hugged, or if your mother walked out and left you alone, you're feeling alone, or if your mother was always there, never letting you be alone, it sets your habits up for a whole lifetime.
那么，如果我们怕黑，或者如果我们的母亲一直把我们留在身边，或者我们的母亲一直把我们一个人放着，那么这就会建立起我们一生的这个习惯、行为和惯性。
It's not good or bad. It's just mother and family.
那么这并不是说好或坏，这只是代表了一种我们的惯性模式。
It's where I came from.
这是我从哪儿来？
It's got to mean something.
那么这代表着一些，对我们来说代表着一些意义。
But after a month when you're a baby and you experience the light and dark and the hot and the cold, you begin to remember. If they go out the door and turn the light off, I'm going to be left alone. If I scream, you begin to remember the pattern. So you expect it. It's time to get eaten. It's time to be hugged. It's time, or it's not. Your feelings get set up from that.
那么，当我们就是出生的小婴儿经历了30天的时候呢，就是我们习惯了冷和热，黑暗和光明，我们也就习惯了父母照料我们的方式。比如说，我们知道什么时候会喂养我们，什么时候会来抱抱我们。如果他们不来的话，我们可能会哭闹，这就是我们的习惯。
So after one moon cycle, it goes again. You get the new moon, the full moon. You get another cycle.
那么经历了一个月亮周期以后，我们会经历新的月亮周期，就是有新月、满月，就不停的月亮周期在重复。
By the time you're 3 months old, you've gone through 3 moon cycles.
那么当你到3岁的时候，你经历了3个月亮周期。
You remember 90-day cycles.
那么你记住了90天的这个周期。
But after 3 moon cycles, you start picking up a pattern.
那么当经历了3个月亮周期的时候呢，你就开始建立了这样的一个就感受到这样的一个模式。
If I scream, Mom will come.
那么只要我尖叫或哭的时候，
Or if I scream, she won't come, huh?
如果我哭闹的话，母亲会过来；如果我哭闹的话，母亲不会过来。
Our patterns get set after 3 cycles. They're there, but you begin to think, how can I use this or anticipate this? This is the beginning of the mind. 3 moon cycles, 1 Mercury cycle.
那么接下来呢，就是说，当我们经历了这个月亮周3个月亮周期的时候呢，我们开始理解了这样的一些惯性。接下来我们就会去思考，这时候开始了水星的周期，就是我们会想，我们会哭的话，母亲就会来了，这是我们的开始的思维。
So we learned. So with Mercury represents this thinking, making sense, making connections between things.
那么水星代表的就是思维，去理解这些事情，然后呢去在事物之间发现这些连结和关系。
But when you have a baby for 3 months, it's just a rat. It's just a thing there. It's just a blob. It's not reacting. You think it's smiling. It's just got gas. It's not real.
当小孩13岁的时候，可能很小，他并没有一个回馈的能力。你可能觉得他在微笑，但其实他可能只是在把气吐出来。
Well, it's real, but it's not a person. It doesn't seem like a person. It's just a thing.
那么它只是一个就是非常小的小东西。
That you have to feed, you have to take care of, you have to wake up for, you have to go do this. It has all these conditions. But when your mind comes in, you start. The child starts to see around the room. It starts to see. The first sign is you start seeing the fingers, the hands moving like this, and you know the baby's healthy. The mind is moving and coordinating everything. It's alert. It's waking up.
那么这些心智的话呢，它就会去小孩刚开始看见的是他手指的移动，实际上是大脑去就是建立上的调试和平衡系统。那么你就知道开始他的大脑的功能才开始发展。
So to say Mercury is just the mind, it's not enough.
那么如果说水星只是一个大脑或者是思维的话，它并不是这并不充分。
It's the way you think. It's the way you communicate. It's not enough.
那么如果我们说它是你思考的方法或者是沟通的方法，也并不完全。
It's how you perceive, how you make sense out of things.
就是你如何去理解，你如何去就是对这个事情产生看法。
I know so and so, I've done this, this is meaningful. If I do this, I've done this and this and this today, and these are my connections. I talked to so and so, I talked to so and so, and these were all the things that were related. Oh, something happened to me, I got to tell you about it. I told my friend, we get a relative meaning out of it.
那么就是说，我做这个事情会怎么样，做那个事情会怎么样？我有这些朋友，或者我有那些朋友，那么我把这些朋友集合在一起，我会做一些什么事情啊？这就是水星的类似的一些功能。
So they say Mercury's your intellect, but that's only other image of it.
那么他们说水星是一个就是智力，其实这只是水星的一个面相。
The primary meaning of Mercury is how awake, how alert you are.
那么最主要的这个水星的含义和意涵呢，是你有多警觉，你有多机智和机敏。
Are you alert to your body, to all the nerves, to all the sensations? Are you alert to be coordinated? How adjusted? How skillful? Or how slow?
那么你是这个身体的协调功能是如何的？你对待事物的这个刺激的反应是如何的？是多机警呢？然后你协调各方面的能力是如何？或者是你多有技巧，或者是你有多慢，多有这样的这个调和能力。
It takes 3 months or 6 months, 1 cycle of Mercury, 2 cycles of Mercury, or 3 cycles of Mercury before if you see your kid is a little slow. What's happening? What's happening? You don't know. It's every 3 months and 6 months you'll get a sense of whether they're fitting in or not.
那么，就是好像你教养小孩的话呢，你可能会每3个月或者每6个月，你会知道说这个小孩他的协调能力或者是他的这个发展的能力是怎么样的。
So part of how awake and mental you are, how you make sense, depends on what good food you got from your mother.
那么你的心智这个水星层面发展的能力如何，取决于是说你的营养、你的喂养、你的滋养是受到母亲照顾的这个情况。
So your independent life started with your horoscope, your moment of birth, but your health began 5 years before you were born.
那么，你的这个，其实你的健康实际上在你5 years
before you're born.
是在你出生5年前就已经决定了。
If the health of the mother, the blood of the mother, the quality of food, the quality of blood of the mother and the father for 5 or 10 years determines how healthy the sperm and how healthy the baby will be.
那么，父母的这个5年的这个健康和营养的情况和食物饮食的情况，决定了这个小孩的健康情况。
So if you're smoking and drinking and you get pregnant and you stop smoking and stop drinking, and that's good. You're supposed to stop smoking and drinking, but it doesn't mean it makes the baby the healthiest. There's still a cost.
那么， 如果你是经常饮酒或者经常抽烟的话，然后你准备怀孕前你就停止了饮酒和吸烟，那么你可能生下的孩子还是不一定是会非常健康，因为你吸烟和饮酒还是会有一个影响的。
What would be worse if your mother is a terrible cook and makes terrible food, and you want to get out and eat well for yourself? That's a bigger challenge.
Sorry.
If your mother is a bad cook and she makes bad food,
When you're
in your stomach, you want to. How do you get away? How do you get good food? How do you, when you wake up and think for yourself, I'm not eating like them.
如果你的这个母亲烧的菜非常难吃的话，你会想，我如何的就是离开他们，我如果要吃到好吃的东西，我可不想像他们那样去饮食。
So we have our moon memory, we have our Mercury alertness, trying to make sense out of it.
那么我们有我们月亮的这个记忆，然后水星也代表我们的警觉和机警，以及我们对事物的这样的看法。
Making up languages, making words, making associations, moving things.
创造语言，创造这个语汇，然后呢去协调各方面，然后呢也会去让这个每一个事情变得看出这个事情的意义。
So if you meet a guy, he's just drunk, he's sitting there, he's not, and you meet someone else who doesn't drink, who's awake, who's thinking, which is the most attractive? It depends on your mood, right?
那么，如果你遇到一个人经常喝醉酒，或者是你遇到一个人非常清醒，那么你会受哪个人的吸引呢？那取决于你的这个情绪。
So these are experiential examples. I'm just making the association for the planet to experience, not a thought, but there's something we all have. We can see it.
那么我所讲的这个行星的能量呢，我都会把它去根据现实的情况做联系，所以我只是想把这些能量的展现告诉大家，而并不是说只讲一些符号。
What time is it?
9.
It's 9. Oh, okay. So we're going to spend the whole weekend going through the planets and building up. So I'm just going to quickly go through each of them and finish this. Venus is 10 months.
那么金星呢是10个月的时候。
Yeah, okay. So Venus is 10 months. What happens at 10 months?
那么在10周的时候会发生什么呢？10个月的时候会发生什么呢？
The Venus is a planet of taste, of what we like and what we don't like.
那么金星是代表品味，它就是我们喜欢什么或者不喜欢什么。
We think it's beauty and love, but it's love and hate.
我们认为说爱情总是美好的，但实际上金星代表的是爱和恨。
It's attraction and repulsion.
那么它是一个吸引力或者排斥力。
You eat baby food. Give me the fruit, but I don't want the stew. I don't want the beef, or I don't want that. Like you have different tastes.
那就好像你吃饭的时候说，人家给你这个东西，你可能说，哎呀，我不喜欢牛肉，我不喜欢这个，这就是你的品味。
It's almost our strongest memory, remembering what we like, what we don't like.
这好像就是我们最强的记忆，因为我们知道我们喜欢什么，不喜欢什么。
If you don't like to eat something and someone wants to give it to you,
如果你不喜欢吃什么东西，而那个人一定要你吃这个东西的话
at any age, oh, you got to eat this. I don't want that. Here, have a drink. No, I don't want a drink. Have some more pie. I don't want any pie. I don't eat sugar. Have some more sugar. It's a battle.
那么在任何年纪，这好像都是一个战争，就好像说，哎，你喝一杯吧，我不要喝，你喝一杯吧，哎，你吃一下这个派吧，我不喜欢吃派，你吃一点这个派吧，很好吃。
So Venus is a big puzzle. It's about what we like. It's about our self-worth, what we like, what's beautiful, what's ugly, what's sweet, what's bitter.
那么，金星好像就是这样的一个大的，也是一个迷思啊，就好像说我们喜欢什么，我们的品味是什么，它也代表了我们的自我价值。我们喜欢这个东西，我们不喜欢那个东西，什么是美的，什么是丑的。
So, it's the decision: do I have another box of ice cream, and to spend another night eating ice cream, or do I won't have what I want? So when you get too much of what you want, it's beautiful, but you get fat.
那么这就好像说是你的选择，你是吃这样的吃一个冰淇淋够了呢，还是控制不住诱惑，不停的在吃呢？好像就是享受我们喜欢的东西是美的，但是过度的美会让我们就是比如说过度的食物会让我们肥胖。
But if you don't have any ice cream, you don't have anything that you like, you're going to get bitter and mean.
但是如果你不享受任何你喜欢的东西，不吃任何冰淇淋的话，你会变得非常的这个就是像一个就是就会变得非常的就是就像丑虎一样的。
So, how much satisfaction do you need?
你需要多少的满足感呢？
How much can you take?
你能支付多少呢？你能付出多少去获得这些呢？
How much do you want?
你想要多少呢？你想要获得多少呢？
So Venus, in one way, it's about satisfaction, but really, it's the element of choice.
那么在一方面呢，这个金星好像是代表说满足感，但其实它实际上代表的是你的选择。
When you're 10 months old, it's the first cycle. The baby starts saying, "Mine, give me, yes, I want this, I can't have this." They throw it. It becomes very physical about what's mine and what's not mine.
那么在你10个月的时候，就是小孩10个月的时候，他会说，他会非常有意识，这是我的，这不是我的，这是我的，好像就是他有这样的一个非常强的这样的一个意识。
It gets more aggressive when we get older.
那么当你更大的时候，你会变得更就是有这样的一些挑战。
So what happens if someone's nice to you and they're very sweet and nice, and then they want to ignore you, and they want to talk to your best friend? What? Die. So this wanting, liking, more people get killed because of Venus than Mars.
那么更多的人就是因为金星而被杀，而不是因为火星。就好像说你喜欢一个人非常喜欢你，然后忽然间他又不喜欢你了，然后他喜欢上你的好朋友了，这个时候会怎么样？
If I can't have him or I can't have her, nobody can.
如果我不能拥有他的话，如果我不能拥有这个人的话，世界上没有任何人可以拥有他。
I want it, it's mine. I bought it.
我想要他，这就是我的，他就是我的。
So it's really about Venus is really about choices.
金星就是实际上好像代表选择。
How many choices do you make in a day?
那么你在一天中会有多少选择呢？
Okay, it's like many choices. We check with hair, we check what we wear, what we buy. There's so many choices in a day.
那么在一天中有很多选择，我们穿什么样的衣服，我们是什么样的发型。
These choices are tied up to our self-worth.
那么这些选择都是和我们的个人价值是息息相关的。
How much do we like ourselves?
我们对自己有多喜欢，我们都有喜欢自己。
So, in one way, when you were born, here's a test. When you were born, and you got your looks, how beautiful do you think you were?
那么，就是这是一个测试啊，就是当你生下来以后，你会觉得你自己有多漂亮呢？
Were you born beautiful, 100%, or were you ugly, or you halfway? How beautiful do you think you were?
那么你是非常美丽的话，是100分呢，还是说你觉得自己很丑，还是在两者之间呢？
This is a big factor in life, this choice, who we choose, who we like. Do you want, if you attract someone, do you want someone better looking than you? Wow, if you got someone better than you, you'll do everything for them.
那么这就是一个选择，就是好像是说，我是要跟就是比我长得更好的人在一起吗？好像你要跟这个长得比你更帅的人在一起的话，你要付出很多，去为他做很多事情。
If you marry someone or you get someone uglier than you, you expect benefits.
那么如果你跟那个长得比你丑的人在一起的话，就希望能够获得什么好处？
It's just the way it is.
这其实就是一个像一个规律一样，或者像一个法则一样。
The difficulty is we can make a choice for what we like, and 2 months later we don't want that anymore.
那么对我们来说，最困难的是说，我做了一个选择，我们开始非常喜欢，但是2个月以后并不喜欢这样的一个选
But
择。
by that time, everyone thinks you're mine. How can you change?
那么在那个时候呢，对方就会觉得说你就是我的，你怎么可以改变呢？
Venus is a storm. It's beautiful, it's ugly, it's never peaceful.
那么金星就像是一个风暴，它是美丽的，但是呢，它并不是好像是我们想象的那样的是平静的，或者是非常平静的。
In the old temples, first you eat simple. You get your life simple. Then you fight the mind, you stop thinking. Then you stop desiring and wanting things. You have to let go of the things you want. And you open up into your spiritual path.
那么在那个古代，在那些就是追求灵性的人这些生活中或者教育中呢，他们首先是要吃的简单，饮食简单，然后呢，他们要去放下他们的思维，然后呢，最后呢，他们要减少他们的欲望。这样的话呢，我们就会跟我们的灵性相连接。
So I'll do that tomorrow. I'm not ready for that today.
我以后才会做，我今天不会去做这些事情。
I'm not going to give up smoking now. I'm going to wait. It's too late now. I'm not going to give up now.
我现在不会去放弃我戒烟了，或者是放弃吸烟，我可能以后再会去做这个事情。
I like this guy. He's nice. I don't care if he drinks. This is nice. 10 years later, it's a different story.
我喜欢这个男人，他好帅啊，但是他有酗酒的习惯，但是我并不介意。可能10年以后，这个事情完全不是这样的。
So your Venus picks up an attitude.
那所以说，大家可以看到说，每个人金星都有一个态度。
And then you go into the world and try and get it.
所以你来到这个世界上，你希望获得这些东西。
You might be lucky to get it. You might be lucky to not get it.
也许你非常幸运，你获得了你想要的东西；也许你很幸运，你没有获得你想要的东西。
But you're alive. You're going to go for what's nice and what you want, anyways, and be mad when you don't have it.
但是你是活生生的人，所以你希望有这样的欲望，你希望得到你喜欢的东西。如果你得不到你想要的、你欲望的东西的话，你就会非常生气。
The second test of Venus is on a scale of 1 to 100. How beautiful do you think you are now?
那么，对第二个金星的测试就是说，从1到100分评分的话，你们大家认为自己能够给自己评几分呢？
Or
现在。
Or how beautiful do you think other people think you are?
那么你认为别人认为你有多漂亮呢？
Is it the same? Is it different?
这个分数是一样的吗？两者是一样的吗？还是不同的？
You meet someone who thinks they're so beautiful, they got everything. Who wants to be with them?
如果你遇到一个人，你觉得哎呀他多么帅多么美啊，谁都愿意跟他们在一起。
Okay. So these are the personal planets: Moon, Mercury, Venus. You don't see that they're personal. They're inside yourself. You don't see them that right away about somebody, but they have a very powerful effect.
那么这些都是个人行星，月亮、水星和金星，它代表都是我们个人的面相。我们跟人相识的时候，我们不可能第一面就会马上看到这些个人的面相，但是它对我们每个人的影响，它是我们的内在，它对我们个人的影响非常非常的重大。
So if you, from your moon, you go to your mind, you go to your choices, and if you do it right, you get confidence.
那么从月亮开始，如果我们的情绪能够获得滋养，然后我们会做出正确的选择，在金星这儿做出正确的选择的话，我们就会建立我们的自信和自我价值。
Confidence is your sun.
太阳就是我们，自信就是我们的太阳。
I like this. Let's play. Let's do this.
我喜欢这个，让我们来嬉戏吧，让我们来游玩吧。
But if you get hurt, or you're not thinking right, I don't want to play.
但是如果我们受了伤，或者我们的或者我们那个心情不好的话，可能会说，哎呀，我不想玩，我不想做这些事情。
So growing into your heart, into your confidence, into being alive for yourself, that's the purpose in life. Finding your sun coming out of your moon.
那么实际上，成为你的心脏，成为你生命的这个光明，来到我们成为你的自信，实际上这就是我们人生的目的。就好像说，我们从月亮成长为太阳。
Some people find it being married. Some people find it being alone. Some people don't find it.
那么有一些人通过和别人建立关系，寻找到人生的意义；有些人通过独处一个人独处寻找这个意义；有些人不寻找人生的意义。
Everyone has the choice, everyone has the thinking, everyone has the feelings, but they're not the same. So some people are born with everything's lucky, they got everything. Some people have nothing.
每个人都有这个不同的每个人都有不同的这个思想，每个人都有不同的选择，所以每个人都是不一样的。有一些人他出生非常幸运，有一些人出生他什么都没有。
Sometimes the person with nothing can be much happier and much nicer.
那么有些时候呢，那些一无所有的人，他可能会更开心，或者是更友善。
So you could choose to marry someone that wants everything. They want the money. They want to get everything. They want to get me. This is a good guy. I'll get this. And you get it, and it's so vain. It's not nice.
那么你可能会遇到一个人说，这个人什么都有，什么都能够创造。你好像跟这个人在一起，但是你跟他在一起以后，你会觉得说这个人这么空虚，好像非常的空虚。
So the question becomes to me, I have to do this myself?
那么好像就是说我需要自己做这些事情吗？
He's not going to get it for me?
那么他不会为我做这些事情吗？
I have to be the mother myself. He's not going to help?
那么我需要做自己的母亲吗？他不会来帮助我吗？
Have to get up in the middle of the night, the baby's screaming, he's not going to do it?
那么小孩半夜哭闹的时候，我需要起来照顾，他不会帮我吗？
So it could be a hassle, but when you do it, you get your power and your confidence.
那么这好像就是一些冲突，但是如果你做这些时候，你就拥有了这些自信。
When someone has their confidence, they're glorious.
那么当某一个人他有自信的时候，他就会闪耀。
They could be arrogant, they could be playful, but a kid who's just happy and running, it's beautiful.
他们可能是高贵的，他们可能是高傲的，但是就像小孩的能量一样，他们就是开心的，他们就是快乐的。
Same way, if you have your partner and he's happy and he's bubbling, look, this is wonderful. He's playing, but if he doesn't do anything, it's not going to last.
那么如果说这个人，你的这个另一半他是开心的，他是快乐的，那也很好。但是他如果不为你做什么事情的话，这个关系也不会维系。
If you put the sun in one hand, the sun is a big medicine ball.
那么如果你把太阳放在一个手上的话，
If you put all the other planets together, you can close your hand around them.
如果你把其他所有的星星放在另一个手上，你可以把手闭起来。
What's the most important thing in your chart?
那你星盘中最重要的是什么？
Your heart,
你的心，
your confidence.
你的自信。
If you're with someone that's always putting you down, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, I'll do better, I'll do better. That's not confidence.
那么如果你遇到一个人，他会说，哎呀，你还是不够好，你还是不够好，你要做什么，你要做那个，那么你会非常没有自信。
It's not something you get from your mind. It's not something you get from your choices. It's not something you get from your family or your past. It's how alive could you be now? How confident?
那么这些自信并不是说你从哪儿来，你想什么，而是你目前当下所做的所事的状态。
With this confidence comes a certain nobility and a certain courage.
那么你有了自信以后呢，就会带来一些高贵的贵族的气息。
So you have all the inner planets come up to your sun. Now, if you're confident and you're noble and you try and do something, you can succeed.
那么，如果我们的内行星就到达我们从我们的内行星来到了我们这个太阳，我们的心，我们的自信。如果我们有自信，带着自信去做事情的话，我们就会成功。
But if you're not confident and you try and do something, what's going to happen?
如果我们没有自信的话，我们想要去做什么事情的话，会发生什么呢？
Let's go to bed, honey. Oh, all right. It's killed it. Let's go to bed, honey. Yeah, okay, I'll come. It's no confidence.
如果我们说，哎，我们睡觉吧，然后那个另一半说，这是没有自信的表现。
So it's a precious commodity. We forget about it. We get caught here, we get pulled out here, we do things and we think this is important, so my confidence is going to go into what I'm doing, and then we can hurt people. Oh, where's my confidence? Like you can misuse energy. That's Mars, how you put energy out.
那么，我们会去非常强烈的说想去做一些事情，建立我们的自信，但这个时候我们可能会伤害别人，这就是我们把我们的能量发散出去，这就是火星。
So we all have energy and power.
我们都有能量和权力。
But if we don't use it wisely, we get in trouble.
但是我们如果没有智慧去运用我们的能量和权力的话，我们会让自己陷入麻烦。
Or pregnant.
或者是怀孕。
You know, we do things, oops, oh no. You know, like, this is Mars. Jupiter is the understanding.
那么木星呢，就是一种理解。
But Jupiter has a magical process. Saturn is the authority, what you've accomplished.
那么，木星呢是有一种魔力的这个成分。那么土星呢，它其实是一种权威。
So, you're this age, what have you done with your time? What have you've been here this long, you've been on this earth this long, what have you done with your time?
那么大家在这个世上都活了这么多年龄了，那么你在这些年纪中呢，你做了些什么，成就了些什么？
Do you get respect, dignity, honor? Are you put down? Are you imprisoned? How much respect do you have?
那么你是受得尊重呢，还是说，哎，你做错事情坐牢呢？就是你获得了多少社会的尊重？
Or dignity, or honor. All of these things are Saturn.
或者是尊贵，或者是荣耀，这些都是土星代表的。
So Jupiter gets its wisdom from experience and responsibility.
那么那个木星呢，它获得了这个它是从这个行为和这个责任获得智慧的，它是从。
If you understand Saturn, if you understand responsibility, if you understand your father, you can guide your actions properly.
如果你理解责任，如果你理解你的父亲，如果你能够很好的理解责任的意义的话，你就能更好的去指引你自己的行为。
If you have a bad understanding about what's law, what's order, what's responsibility, what's dad, you're going to take a wrong attitude, you're going to do wrong things.
如果你对你的这个责任、职责、法律、律法、父亲有错误的理解的话，你就会去有错误的选择，做出错误的行为。
So Jupiter is the planet of luck and understanding and abundance, but it's also the planet of misunderstanding.
那么木星呢，它是我们的理解，也是幸运或者是说丰盛的，代表丰盛的行星，但是它同时也代表误解。
So is there more understanding or more misunderstanding in the world?
所以呢，这个世界上它有理解能力，它有很多误解的事情在发生。
Everybody thinks they know what they're doing.
所有的人认为他们知道他们自己做的是什么。
But when there's not the right responsibility, there's wars, there's fights, people are getting hurt, there's gangs, there's bullies.
那么，如果是一些错误的这个责任，或者是没有责任的话，你会带来一些战争啊，或者是说一些或者是一些暴力，或者是一些黑社会的行为。
So strength isn't male or female. Strength can be a man, strength can be a woman. Either way.
所以力量它并不是男性或者女性，它可以代表男性，也可以代表女性。
We put out energy. It can hurt people or it can help people.
我们把我们的能量发散出去，这可以伤害别人，我们的能量可以伤害别人，但它也可以帮助别人。
What you put out will come back.
你投射出去的东西，最终会回到你身上。
What you don't put out will come back.
你不投射出去的东西，也会最终回到你的身上。
So you can take your energy, make love to your partner, your lover, and do everything, make them very happy.
你可以去跟你的爱人非常幸福的生活，或者非常爱他。
And the next day you can not do that.
那么第二天你可以不这么做。
Two forces.
两种不同的力量。
Both with big consequences.
那么两种都会带来非常大的结果和后果，相应的后果。
So that goes beyond male or female.
那么这是超越男性跟女性的，就是人类都是会发生这些事情。
You can see your Mars by your muscle tone.
那么你可以通过你的这个肌肉感觉到你的这个火星。
Are you active? Are you fit? Are you coordinated? Or are you sloppy? Are you fat? Are you skinny? So
你是积极的，还是说你是很有力量的，还是你的身体是胖的，还是结实的？
So to get experiences, you need to get your own experience. You need to ride the bike yourself. You need to drive the car. You need to make love to someone yourself. That's Mars.
那么去获取经历的话，你需要去自己去做这些事情，你需要自己亲自去学习骑车，或者是驾驶一辆汽车，或者是要去跟你的爱人在一起。
Whether it's right or wrong, that's Jupiter.
但是错和对，那就是木星的领域了。
But until you do it, you're not going to know.
但直到你做了以后呢，你才会理解。
Your parents can say, don't be with that person, don't do this, don't do that. It doesn't mean anything until you do it and understand for yourself.
你的父母经常会跟你说，不要跟这个人在一起，不要跟那个人在一起。但是直到你真正的自己体验过这个事情以后，你才会去理解。
Wisdom comes more from having many experiences, many failures, some successes, and you understand more than just getting what you want.
那么智慧其实它是从不同的行为，更多的是从错误的行为，以及一些正确的行为，它产生的一些理解带来的，而并不是说什么都不做。
So how much do you do what is responsible? How responsible do you want to be?
那么你需要问一下自己说，你想要变成多么有责任感的一个人。
The responsible people are always working, always hard. They're the bosses. They seem mean. They're always pushing you. They're getting more time. It's no fair. It's not fun, but they get things done.
那么好像就是你的这个老板，他们就不停的逼你，不停让你去在这个时间这个界限之内，最后日期之内完成这个事情，他们非常的苛刻，但是他们确实是让这个事情完成了。
Like mother's doing everything. If the guy takes off, they split up. He's off. Mother's still doing everything. Now the guy shows up and he has presents for the kid. He's just but he's not part of any of the difficult decisions. So the kid loves, oh, daddy's so nice. Oh, daddy's mommy's so mean. But you learn from You learn from doing things, and the mother's in a stronger position, and the father isn't in touch with it.
那么，就好像一个单身母亲的话，她自己抚养小孩，那么父亲偶尔会来看一下小孩的话，那么这小孩会觉得说母亲是非常的苛刻严苛的，而父亲却是非常慈爱的。但是实际上，你却是通过
It can happen the other way too. The man could be okay, and the woman's not.
那么这也会发生不同的情况，男人是在这儿的，但是那个女人可能会不在这儿。
There's as many men breaking women's hearts as women breaking men's hearts.
这个世界上，男人让女人伤心和女人让男人伤心的这个次数是差不多的。
There's as many women having affairs as there are men having
就
affairs.
好像女人就是有婚外情，跟男人有婚外情也是差不多的。
It's a matter of choice
这是一个选择。
and repercussions. So these are the main planets.
主要的行星。
Yeah, so these are the main planets, the ones you can see. You get your basis in life, how to drive your life from them. The outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, they're disturbers.
那么这些行星呢，就是你主要的能量。你从这些行星呢，就可以了解自己人生的最主要、最基本的能量。那么那些外行星呢，天王星、海王星、冥王星呢，它们是扰乱的能量。
They give you something, but they take away responsibility and security.
那么他们给你一些东西，但是他们带走了这个责任和安全感。
Uranus is excitement and freedom.
那么天王星呢是刺激和自由。
It's only exciting if it breaks the system.
因为只有这个刺激和刺激才能会把这个秩序给打乱。
If there's rules, it's not exciting.
因为有秩序、有规则的话，那并不是有趣的事情。
When you run across astrology, it seems so exciting. When you work with astrology, it's very Saturnine. It's all the rules, it's all the regulations. It's just like music. It's very Saturnine. It's not Uranus. It's conservative.
那么，当大家刚刚探讨占星学的时候，大家会觉得非常兴奋，哇，这是什么东西啊？这就是好像很天王星的感觉。但实际上，大家学习占星学的话，其实它是一个非常土星的工作，因为它有很多的规矩，就好像学音乐的时候，它这个音符在这儿就是非常有规则的。
So Uranus makes the excitement, and then you get, how much can excitement take? Oh no, I got to go back at the house. I got to go fix this. You have to go back to Saturn and fix Saturn.
那么，天王星就会带来这样的兴奋，但是兴奋过后，我们需要有土星，就好像回归土星的能量去做基建。
So Uranus is excitement. Neptune is romance and adventure.
那么，海王星呢，就是浪漫和探险。
Romance and adventure is the biggest danger in the world.
浪漫和探险呢，是世界上最大的危险。
It's the dream. You're the perfect person for me. I want you, only you, nobody else. This is it.
这好像就是那个最大的美梦，你就是那个最完美的人，你就是我的另一半，你就是我的灵魂伴侣，太美了。
You're the most beautiful person in the world. You could move in. I'll pay the rent. Be mine. We'll hear this. And then 2 years later, what are you doing? You should do this. You shouldn't do this. Where are you going? How could you do this? What?
你就是世界上最完美的那个人，就是我最想要的那个人。哎呀，你跟我在一起吧，我可以支付你所有的费用，让我来养你吧。但是2年之后，你会发现，哎，你在干嘛呢？你应该做这个，你应该做那个。
Without the dreams, the world is a bad place. But having the dreams isn't the same thing as reality.
那么，如果没有美梦的话，这个世界上将是一个非常荒芜的地带。但是如果光做梦的话，可能你也会陷入这样的幻灭的境地。
So we get timings. We can see the couple of years when we have our dreams or fantasies and when it falls apart. But you have a predisposition to this from your chart. You have a predisposition to how dreamy, romantic, gullible you are just from your chart.
那么我们去学习行运的话、预测的话，我们会知道我们在人生的什么阶段，我们会有这样子类似做梦的时刻，这样美梦的时刻。
Neptune. Pluto is the, I don't know if you have it, or do you have auditors that come into a business and check to see if everything's right and what's wrong? Do you have the auditor that comes in? That's Pluto.
那么冥王星呢，就好像说是那个审计员，他到你公司自己去做审查了。
So you're believing in someone. This person will get better. This person. Pluto comes in. That's not true.
那么就好像说你相信这个人或者相信这个事情，这个时候冥王星来了，他会很严肃的告诉你，这不是正确的。
So we see Pluto as fear or as power struggles, but really it's truth.
我们看到冥王星就好像说是恐惧或者是一些权力斗争，但实际上它就是真实。
It's not unjust. It's ferociously just.
它并不是说不公正，它是非常严苛的、非常无情的公正和事实。
If you've been lying or pretending, this isn't real.
如果你是在欺骗，或者是你是在欺骗的话，或者欺骗自己的话，这并不是真实的。
If you're gambling and you use the money for your house and you lose the house, you have to go home and tell your wife you lost the house. What?
如果你是在赌博的话，你把这个家产全都赌光了，然后你把房子也赌输了，然后你回去告诉你的妻子，这是一个什么情况？
You go to a doctor, you find out you got cancer, you got 6 months to live. How could this suddenly come? It didn't suddenly come.
那么好像就好像我们去看病，我们去医院，医生告诉我们说你得了癌症，你只有6个月的时间，你会非常的震惊，这怎么会发生？但是这个并不是在当时发生的。
It's been coming all your life.
就是在你一生中，它是一个一生中的这个，就是好像是说有一个这样的发展阶段的。
So is there love without truth?
那么没有真实的，没有真实的情况的话，会是真的爱吗？
Can you have a truthful fight with the person you're with and still love them?
你可以跟你爱的人有一个真实的争执，而还是互相爱对方吗？
If he wants to go to bed and you don't want to, and you say, okay, I'll fake it, that's no good.
那如果他想要跟你上床睡觉，然后你不想。
If you say no, he might get mad and fight you and oh, Jesus was terrible. So, still reality. What are you doing there?
那么如果你想跟他上床睡觉，他说你并不想，但是如果你假装的话，你会发生什么呢？
He hit me, now he's guilty. I can control this. We'll change this.
那么如果说你拒绝了他，然后他非常的生气，然后他揍了你，那他也很内疚，那又是一个不同的状况。
We're lucky we live a minute. We're lucky we live a day. There's so many germs. There's so many problems. Every minute is a miracle.
那么我们非常幸运，我们能活在这个世界中，活在每一分每一秒钟，因为每一分每一秒都是有危机的。
So it's not wrong to be afraid of things. It's wrong to let fear make your decision.
我们感到恐惧并不是错误的，但是错误的是我们让恐惧或者是害怕影响了我们的决定。
Okay, so the negative Pluto is the fear.
那么冥王星的负面是恐惧，
But the positive is the truth.
那么冥王星的正向呢？它是真相。
I don't love you anymore.
我不再爱你了。
Well, that's the truth.
这是真相，
Deal with it.
去处理它。
But if you think, I can't be that strong, I won't be that strong, I can't say that, oh, it'll be horrible, then you get controlled.
那么如果你认为我没有这么强壮，我不能去面对这个现实，我不能把这个事情告诉他，你就会经历生命中的对峙。
Okay, so I'm going to finish here, but these are useful tools for seeing behavior, experience. It's not just a symbol. It's not just a word. Oh, Pluto's the second house, power in communications. It's not just like that. We see it like that first. Then you have to get to how it's experienced. How is it working? And then when you see once you understand how it works in your nature, then when you see the timing, you can see when.
那么，今天呢，我就会讲到这里。那么，行星并不是语言，好像说冥王星在2宫就是你在自我价值中会有一些这个斗争。但是呢，我希望大家刚开始学的时候，可能都是会以这样的方式去学这个占星的语汇。但是我希望大家更能把占星的能量去体现在生活中，它是什么样的情境，它在这个人的生命中是怎么展现出来的。
Okay, that's it. I'm sorry to go so long, but thank you.
非常感谢大家。